Alright, so instead of me worrying about the textures on this just at the moment, I'm going to continue with growing the ivy on the opposite side so that we can get that done. That's an edit poly. That's an edit poly. That's an edit poly. And we've got our grow ivy 1 here again that we need to remove. Alright. Let me just have a quick look here. I'm just going to pull back a little bit so I can see a bit more of the model. We have our ivy here on the front, we have our ivy growing up partially up the statue. I want to grow ivy up this wall here and partially up this statue, I think. Yeah, I want to grow ivy up here. I also want to grow some ivy here, I think, on the banister. So let's select parts of the model we want to grow the ivy on. I'm just going to grab a couple of these columns as well, just to be on the safe side in case it spreads more than I intend. So we have the tile, the wall, and partial banister there. I want to remember to select my flowers as well and go into isolation mode. Actually I should have selected the... no, it won't be growing that high. I'll grow a separate piece here on the actual banister itself. We should be okay. So let's throw down our grow ivy. We'll jump into the top viewport though so I can see what I'm doing. And again, I just do this isolation so that the plugin doesn't have as much geometry to worry about when it's doing the calculation to grow the ivy. It'll just speed it up and it'll be less prone to crash. And again, I take it down until it's just above the floor. And it's got to come in until it's just before the wall. And again, I'm not starting it directly in the middle. I want to make it look more natural, so I'm starting it off center here, not in right in the middle of the wall, but off to the side a little. Now let's select our meshes here. So we've got our bud, our flower, and our partially open flower. Again, I want to reset that size to 355, and maybe the density to 0.4. Let's see what that looks like. Let's just check our textures are set it back to 6. And again, we're going to go with 2% on the bud, 10% on the flower, and 5% on the partially open flower, with 25% for all the other leaves. And we're just going to use the same settings for all of them. Like I said, you have the option to vary it up if you want to. For something like this though, it's probably not necessary. You're not going to really notice it that much if you make different settings between the young, the old and the main grow. Alright, let's grow our ivy and have a look. I want to change my threads though back to 4. Again, that's just for me so that OBS has some processing power to work with. And again, it's not picking up the leaf material here. I just have to load the leaves in. Let me just move that away.
We'll break the stratosphere towards the heavens. We'll be on our way into the atmosphere with cosmic presence. We will light the way. Oh, we're shooting stars in the night. Oh, we're shooting stars in the night.
I have a feeling when we render this, it'll render the texture. I'm just going to do a quick test render here. I just want to have a look. Don't worry about the vertex color, that's just part of the plugin. It didn't actually render the texture up, so let me have a look at that. Using a multi-material. Which is probably not necessary. And same with this.
Take my hand and we'll combine our sparks. Watch as we sew together, you and I, as we make our getaway into the sky.
Alt leave. That's actually the model texture there. Okay, so basically what it's done, it's done the same thing again with the material name here, so let's fix that. Let's change the material here, so it's not called Ivy Material 1, it's going to call this one First Ivy Material, or Matte Material. Alright, I'm just going to remove these here. And again, this is still an IB object, so what we're going to do here is zero it back out again to 0 on the edge. We're going to grow it again. That's a problem. I don't want it growing through here like this either. So again, I'm going to zero it back out. I'm going to select, pardon me, select everything, and we'll go back into our main view here. I'm going to select that front wall section. I'm also going to select those banisters while we're here. And back into isolation. We want the wall. Okay, back into isolation again. Select our grow ivy. Pull back a bit here. Just double checking my my plugin to make sure everything's set up properly. Okay, let's grow our ivy. Gonna probably have to do this a little bit more manually, so the original material is using 21 materials. The new one is only registering for 13. And again, it creates all of these dummy textures that aren't being used. That's just because I increased the material count here. So let's see, from 14 to 21. It's just basically what's happening is when the plugin is creating the multi-material, it's not creating the right number. There could be a bug in the plugin. I have come across this problem before with the plugin, so it's nothing new. Easy enough to fix. I know it looks like a bit of a mess here in the material editor, and I'll come back and clean this up in just a minute, but for the moment we'll leave it like that. Okay, now I just want to look at yeah, so it's not too bad. There's a few partially open flowers, a few open flowers. Could make the density a little bit larger, but generally I think when a a vine is growing on a wall like this, you will get parts of it where it will have died off because it's old. Let's take it back to 0, and I might just up the density a little bit more, I think. We'll go to 6.5. Grow it again. And now we have way too many flowers, so we're going to have to pull that back. I wanted the density on the leaves, which it did, but it also did the flowers, but I think the density is just a little bit too high, so again back to 0. I'll make it a density of 5.2, and I'm going to pull back on the number of flowers a bit to maybe 8%. Okay, and then we can grow the ivy again. Okay, that's a bit better. I don't mind it spreading out here onto the terrace at the bottom a bit. Although it does look like it may be growing through this part of the wall. I think that problem is again with the normal, so I'm going to 0 the ivy out again. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do a reset, and then I'm going to do a flip. And then I'm also going to collapse my stack again. Alright, let's go back to our ivy one more time. And grow it. And pause it. And that's better. It hasn't grown through the actual front border here. It's growing on top of it but not through it. Alright, that should be okay for there. Let's exit isolation mode here. And again, I'm just going to pull back a bit here on my model so I can get a better overall look at it. I might just save our file as well, just to be on the safe side. So we have our ivy over on that corner at the bottom, partially on the angel, and then we have it on the wall on that side, and I also want to put it on the pointing angel at the top above the wall there, and also on the banister at the front. So I want to grow some on the banister here, maybe probably just off center through here. And then partially on this angel statue as well, like this one. And then we also want to change the colour. Like I said, I don't want purple. I think red would be more interesting, more dramatic. Okay, so now let's select the parts of our mesh we want to grow the ivy on at the top here. And I want that banister that partially this one probably as well. And I want the top tiles, it's really important. I might grab that column there just to be on the safe side as well. And I must remember I need those flowers as well. So jump back into isolation mode again. Throw down one of our grow ivy. Again, we're going to go into the top viewport here so I can position it properly. I'm actually going to grow it a bit further in, I think. Actually not too far in because I want it to grow on this as well. So I'll move it down till it's just above the tiles. Let's start it growing there, we'll see what we get. But, yeah, let's see what happens when we grow up from here. So again, we've got to go down and select our meshes. So we have our bud, our open flower and our closed flower. To remember the settings we had used just before, so that's all fine. Let's grow our ivy and see what we get here. Might be a bit too far out, I think. Yeah, I think it's I don't want it growing actually on the tiles like that. I want it growing more on the banister itself. So again, set it back to 0 on its age, and we'll move it in a bit. Pull it up a bit. Let's try it there. You can see what a dramatic difference it makes just depending on where you position the initial grow point though, as to what it's going to look like when it grows. That is where I wanted it, but what's the age on it? 920 age. Not quite the look I'm going for though, so let's zero it back out again and move our grow point a bit more. Let's try it there. It's not too bad. I like that it's growing through the through both sides of the banister here. I may do another one, I think, here. So again, instead of me trying to grow one grow ivy into exactly the shape that I want it to be, because I have not much control once it starts doing its thing. Instead of working with one, I'm just going to keep working with a few of them until I get the look that I'm after. So I'm going to throw another grow ivy down, maybe here. I'm going to move it over here into near this corner. I'm not going to put a ground plane down because there is no ground here. It's the wall. Yeah, well, any plant, I don't know if you saw David Attenborough's plants series, but if you look at the ivy when it grows, it looks the same way. It does look like it defies gravity. It sort of looks like it has feelers that work its way up. So yeah, Of course, in the plugin you can change your gravity and all that type of thing as well if you want to really make your grow look a bit different than the way it should, but his default values are pretty spot on. So if you wanted to do it to grow naturally, then I recommend leaving it the way it is, but you can change your gravity in the plugin if you want to grow it a little bit more unusually. I'm just going to check. I think we have to add our flowers again. We have that one, and that one. Everything else should be pretty good, so let's just regrow our ivy again. You're not actually growing the way I want you to there, are you? Again, we've got that problem with it growing on the inside, so we'll zero it out, select our column, you know the drill, we do a reset export, we do an edit poly, we select it all, and we flip our flip our polygons. And again, I'm just going to collapse the stack here. And let's grow our ivy again.
Got the light and it's shining through. They say you're beautiful and damn it's true. You know I wouldn't want to lie.
It has overtaken that column quite a bit there. I don't mind that so much. Let's exit isolation mode so I can have a look at what that actually looks like. I just want to deselect it so we can get a better look at it. Yeah, no, I don't mind that. Completely covering the column like that. There's still enough of the columns visible around the model so you know what it is. Generally I would have said, oh, it may be a bit too thick, but I actually quite like that. You can see just a little bit of the column through it here, at the bottom. Completely growing over the top of the column though, so that's fine. All we have to do now is grow ivy on this angel statue. So again, I'm just going to pull back and have a look at the model itself. Leafy parts hanging towards the outside of the banister. Just imagine how wonderful that would smell. Yeah, no. Honeysuckle or yeah. What's the other one? We have wattle over here, which is a lovely yellow flower, and it smells beautiful as well. Or lavender. I love the smell of lavender, but yeah, it would smell great. You're talking about defying gravity here on the sides, Galen. I don't think it's growing out further than it naturally would if it was actually growing on, if the ivy was growing on anything. It's not sticking out too far. If it was growing a longer stalk, then it would start to drop down, and it does partially start to droop here. But remember too, it's growing on top of itself as well, so you've got ivy branches growing on top of each other, which helps to push it out a bit. We have it there, we have it there, we have it here and here. I want to grow it on there. Yeah, it may have been the angle. I'm just looking at this here, and I may want to grow some over here on this corner, but I'll do this statue first and decide then. So again, let's choose the bits that we want to grow it on and isolate it. Remember to take the flowers as well. I always forget these flowers. Let's grab them. I'm going to head off anything at the pass, and I'm going to do a reset on this before I do anything else. So I'm going to reset selected. I have a feeling this one's probably okay already. I know it is because it's not turning inside out when I put a reset on it, so let me collapse that stack though. Alright. Let's throw down our grow ivy. We'll put it around here, I think. Again, I'm going to jump into my top viewport here so I can see where it's actually positioned it. It's going to rotate around. Yeah, again, I don't want it right in the middle here. I want it off center a bit. And I sort of make sure it's not actually intersecting the mesh at all. That's okay. Again, we've got to select our meshes, or our buds, our flowers. Again, just before I set that growing, I'm just going to save that, because again, I don't trust maps or the plugin. Arachnos, I can't understand all that. Your English is poor, but I like so much your work. Have you any recommendation for 3D blockout of environment modeling, Arachnos? 3D blockout of environment modeling. What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. 3D blockout. You could use the Unreal Engine if you're just doing a blockout. It depends on what you need to use it for. You're going to be rendering a 3D environment, or you want to make a 3D environment. If you can explain to me a little bit more what you want to do, what you're trying to do. I try and speak as slowly as I can. I know that some people's English isn't as great as others, but if there's anything you don't understand, Arachnos, or you're not sure about, type it into the chat and I'll do my best to explain it for you. I'm happy to do that for anyone, so if anyone doesn't understand anything that I'm talking about or working on or doing, feel free to pop into the chat. I'm just not sure what you mean by a 3D blockout of an environment modeling. Like, I use Eon View to do my 3D environment renders with, trees and grass and that sort of thing, which I'll be doing with this model once I've finished working on it. I'll take it into Eon View and render it in that program. So you'll see me creating a 3D environment there. You mean blocking out the scene? Well, I use 3D Studio Max to block out my scene. If you go back to my... If you go to my YouTube channel, right at the very beginning when I first started streaming, you'll see this model I'm working on now blocked out in just basic shapes. Like how to use blocks to make the scenery. Yeah, if you go back and look at my YouTube channel at the very beginning, back in October, when I started working on this model, you'll see that I block it out. Pardon me, I just create... I create simple shapes and then I texture those shapes up. So all my videos, all my streaming videos on my YouTube channel, PhilDoes3D, show you exactly how I created this model from the beginning with just shapes that were untextured. So it may be worthwhile looking through my older videos on YouTube, or even on my past Twitch broadcasts. If you look at my video section on Twitch, you can see them there as well. No, I did not use any references. I created all of this just through my own work, through my mind. I didn't look at any references to create the model. Apart from the angel statues, they're created using photogrammetry, so I used photo references to create those. But the actual rest of the model is no photo reference. It doesn't exist anywhere in the real world. It's just all made up by me. And all of the texturing was all created by hand in Mari by me. So again, all my past broadcasts, you can see that. Let's grow our ivy here. And again, I'll probably end up doing this in two passes. Not too bad for the first one, and again I'm going to throw down another grow ivy. Put it there. And I'm just going to jump into my top viewport again so I can see exactly where it's moved it. It's over here. And let's pull it up a bit. And pull it back a bit. I want to pull it in as close to the actual model as I can get, but without going inside of it. Alright, let's we're probably going to have to select our flowers again, I'd say. It's good that it remembers all of the other settings, but it's a bit annoying it doesn't remember the flowers itself. At the moment, these are just diffuse textures, Rachnos. I am going to be creating normal maps for a few of the different parts of the model. Once I finish doing this, these flowering vines, then I'll take the textures into another program called Knald, K-N-A-L-D, and I'll create normal maps for some of the textures using that program, before I take it into Eon View and start doing some environment renders. So at the moment all you're seeing are diffuse maps, but I will be creating normal maps for some of the textures as well. Right, let's grow our ivy here. And I picked a bad angle here because I can't really see what it's doing, but we might be okay. Let me just pause the growth there. Yeah, I want to move that around a bit more. I don't want it so far to the back there, so I'm going to zero that back out again. And I'm going to move that in. Move it out a bit. Move it up a bit. Okay, let's try it again from here. And again, I don't want this ivy to grow too high. I don't want it to cover up all of the angel itself. I just want, a bit here and there. That should be okay. Let me let's exit isolation mode and have a look at the model. I'm just moving it into a position here that you'd normally probably use to render it out at, like the same sort of angle that you'd use generally when you're doing a render. And you may render it down like that, but I want to see the ivy itself. We have the ivy here. I actually think it probably will need a bit of ivy growing here on this inner back wall, just that curved section back in through there to finish the ivy up. And again, I want to change the colour to red because the purple's being lost a bit too much with the rest of the texture. But by making it a nice red colour, the flowers are a reddish colour, it'll really help for them to pop out and stand out. I think though we may finish it there for today, guys. I'm just going to save our file. I will be back on again tomorrow when we will finish growing the ivy here against this back wall. Maybe on this corner column actually, it might look interesting. I think that'll probably be all the ivy we need to grow on it though. Once we've done that tomorrow, I will change the colour of the flower buds and flowers to a red. Then we will make sure that the model is all named correctly here. We don't have any boxes and stuff. I notice there's a couple of objects which it's going to change the name of them on, so just a bit of housekeeping before we start creating some normal maps and bringing it into view. Oxy Trophy, this scene I've been working on for, this is probably about 6-7 weeks, 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, so I can only stream 3 days a week, and I haven't done any work on it where I haven't been on stream, on Twitch streaming it, so probably, yeah, 2 hours a day, 3 days a week for the last 7 weeks is how long it's taken me from initial block out to fully textured the way it is at the moment. But we haven't finished with it yet. Like I said, I've got to grow a little bit more ivy here in this corner, which we'll do tomorrow. Then I want to just do some housekeeping to make sure everything's named correctly, and then I'll start creating some normal maps for the different parts of the model, maybe the stairs and the tiled area up the top here. Not everything, just different parts will need normal maps before we take it into Eon View and I start doing some beauty renders in a fully 3D environment with vegetation. Thanks, Oxytropy. I'm glad you like it. I will be back on again tomorrow though, guys. Hopefully you can join me then. I'll be on at 5 PM Pacific time in the US, which is 12 PM in Australia, 1 AM in the UK. I always post 15 minutes before I'm about to go live on my Twitter page, so keep an eye on me at PhilDoes3D if you're not sure. You'll see a post from me 15 minutes before I'm about to go live. But I will be back on again tomorrow at 5 PM. Thank you guys for joining me and watching. I appreciate it. You're quite welcome, Rachnos. Yeah, do watch some of my older videos. You'll see it from the very beginning when I started just with a block out of what the model shape was. And I go through everything, texturing up the whole thing to where you see it now. So, and I did all of that while I was streaming, so no work was done off stream. You'll be able to see it all as it progressed to where it is now from looking at some of my old videos. See you, Rachnos. Thank you, Oxytropy. I'm glad you liked the model. Thank you guys again, like I said, for watching. I'll be back on again tomorrow at 5 PM. Hopefully I'll see you guys then. See you.